Welcome to the So You Missed Church podcast. We are happy to have you here with us today. Happy Monday to you. My name is Clint Daly, and I hope that this podcast today is going to get your week off to a strong start. And I know when you hear that intro, you might think, yeah, I didn't really actually miss church all that much. Hey, last week we discussed the reasons that people actually do attend church. And we discussed what they are hoping to get from that experience. And we also took a look at why people don't go, or why they stop going, or why they refuse to go, or whatever. Here is my question for you this week. What should church be? What was the church originally designed to be? I mean, we know what modern day churches are, for the most part. Most of them are businesses. And I'm actually not trying to disparage them. I genuinely hope that they're out there doing the Lord's work, but many are corporations. I don't know how else to say it. Some of them are actually quite lavish corporations. Okay, but forget the gold-plated steeples and the reclining movie theater style seating and the 4K TVs on the walls and the six-figure salaries of the corporation employees and the heated parking lot. All that stuff. Forget that stuff. What is the actual point of any of this? Well, let's get back to basics today. What is the actual reason for a church to begin with? Why do we need church? What is the job of the church supposed to be? You know, it's interesting. If you walked into a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A right now, I would assume if you were to ask an employee, what is your purpose here? They could probably tell you, right? And yet, when you stop and think about it, if you walked into your local church and you walked up to someone there and you said, hey, what is the reason for this? What is your purpose here? What is it you're here to do? I'm not so sure you'd get a good answer. So to answer that question of what should a church be, I will consult the Bible itself. The Gospel of Matthew, in chapter 18, verse 20, Jesus says this, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them." Okay, gives you a little bit of an idea. We can also look in Paul's letter to the Ephesians in chapter 4. He says, "So Christ himself gave some to be apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers, to equip his people for works of service so that the body of Christ, the church, may be built up until we all reach a unity in faith." That's kind of interesting, isn't it? In the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, Paul again says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another." Well, that's pretty interesting too, isn't it? Okay, so let's get something on the table. This podcast is not church. I don't want it to be a church. I am not a pastor. I am not a preacher. I am not a reverend or a priest, and I have no interest in becoming any of those things. This podcast is more of, let's say, a Bible study where we look to do some of those things that sometimes churches fall short of doing. My goal for this podcast is to try to teach, encourage, challenge, and maybe to reach a few people that either can't or won't attend church again. So it's just in case you missed it and didn't get to attend, or just in case you chose not to attend and didn't want to attend. Having said that, I'd like you to think about something this week. How often would you say that you gather with maybe some close friends or family, and as Paul said, you spur one another toward love and good deeds? Okay, I'm not talking about getting together for a few drinks and just talking about nothing, or gossiping, or small talk chit chat about movies or social events or whatever. Not that stuff. But do you have maybe a family member or a friend, maybe it's your significant other, or whoever it is, that you talk about the deeper things in life with? You go beyond just the informational talking. You get past the, well, how was your week? Well, what did you eat for dinner kind of thing? And you actually talk about the real stuff. You actually talk about what is really going on in your life. What is going well? What are you struggling with? Do you have someone in your life that you can actually confide in? Do you have anyone in your life that you can actually share that stuff with? And they, in turn, are also sharing those things with you. You listen to each other. And here's the key part. You encourage each other. If you have that person, and to be totally honest, you might not, because it's not an easy person for everyone to find. But if you do have that person or people in your life, and you do have those conversations, well, fellowship is basically what Paul describes as church. And also, remember what Jesus said. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them. You actually might be attending church a little more than you think you are. And those relationships are invaluable to find. And if you have them, nurture them. Make them a priority. They are far more important than the social friendships that you may have, because they are serving some of the very purposes that a church is supposed to be fulfilling. And whether you regularly attend your local church or not, I encourage you to keep attending those more private personal church services as often as you can, because sometimes those are actually even more impactful. You know, if you're struggling with a certain aspect, you would like something addressed, feel free to email us at youmisschurch@gmail.com. We want to be a source of help to you. So if there's something you think you would benefit from hearing about, feel free to reach out to us. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on X at YouMissChurch. You can also follow us over on YouTube and listen to the podcast there. If you do get a chance, feel free to leave us a 5-star rating and a review, because that may help us get seen by a few more people and we can grow this community a little bit more. I wish you all a very, very happy Monday, and I hope that you have a great week.